Hey, thank you for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I'm your host, music producer Chick with Beats, and I'm thrilled that you've joined me today. I got another episode for you that's got music industry news, instrumentals by me for your inspiration, and later my special guest, the talented vocalist Miss Jenny, will be joining me. We're going to talk a little bit about writing without fear and finding your voice, and a whole bunch of other good stuff. So once again, I'm excited to be bringing this episode to you. And before I go ahead and drop that first beat, of course I gotta give a shout out to my home station, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And with that, let's go. producer Chick with Beats, and you're listening to my podcast, Instrumental Intel. I'm back with the Music Biz Brief. First up, BeatBread has launched a new deal comparison tool to help independent artists and labels compare funding offers from distributors, labels, and finance companies. The tool breaks down cash flows, costs, and recoupment terms, helping users make informed decisions. In beta testing, 60% of artists and label owners changed their original deal choice after using it. BeatBread, which has raised over $140 million in institutional funding, says its goal is to provide transparency in deal-making, whether or not artists choose their platform for funding. Next up, A2IM and Mazooka just launched independent radio charts tracking spins across 5,000 plus US and Canadian stations, including college, community, and non-commercial outlets. For the first time, airplay on 850 non-commercial stations is being monitored using music recognition tech. Independent artists can check out the charts at Mazooka.com, and that's MUZOOKA.com. Also, interesting tidbit, Instagram has introduced native music sharing in DMs and broadcast channels, allowing users to listen to the same song simultaneously or share tracks asynchronously without needing external links. The feature is accessible alongside stickers and GIFs, kind of streamlining music discovery within the app. Alright, this next one is more of an FYI for those DJs out there and others who use Twitch to stream. They are capping stored highlights and uploads at 100 hours starting April 19th, with automatic deletions for those over the limit. This could affect DJs who archive past sets, as Twitch will remove the least viewed content first. Clips and VODs won't be impacted, but DJs relying on highlights may need to back up their sets or move them to other platforms before the changes take effect. Next up, Amazon is rolling out Alexa Plus, a $19.99 per month AI-powered voice assistant with smarter music discovery and integration with major streaming services. Users can track artist releases, move music across devices, and even find songs from TV credits. Notably, Amazon is partnering with Suno, and that's one of the big generative AI music companies currently facing tons of lawsuits from major labels. This move signals Amazon's continued interest in AI-generated music despite legal challenges. And speaking of AI and music, major and independent music leaders are pushing back against the UK government's proposal to let AI companies train on copyrighted works without permission. Universal, Sony, and Warner CEOs have warned it would devastate creators, while indie label network Merlin estimates AI-generated music could cost its members over $200 million annually. To protest, more than 1,000 musicians, including Kate Bush and Cat Stevens, released a silent album titled Is This What We Want? And that was to symbolize the potential erasure of artists' voices. Also in news, Live Nation hit a record $23.2 billion in revenue for 2024. The CEO, Michael Rapino, questioned whether streaming platforms could successfully offer superfan perks without access to ticket pre-sales, calling pre-sale inventory a very valuable asset that artists control. While Spotify, Apple, and Amazon have explored ticketing partnerships, Rapino suggested that they lack enough exclusive content to justify premium subscriptions. He also noted that Live Nation plans to add 20 large venues by 2026 and gave no update on the ongoing DOJ antitrust investigation. Next in news, SoundCloud is expanding its artist tools with 2 new features. A partnership with Ticketmaster now lets Artist Pro users sell tickets directly from their SoundCloud profiles and promote shows within the platform. The other one is its new fan recognition feature, which highlights an artist's first and top fans on track pages, ranking listeners by early engagement and total plays. Also, Kobalt has launched Cosign, and that's all caps KOSIGN, a publishing platform aimed at helping independent songwriters collect their share of over $1 billion in unclaimed royalties each year. The invite or application-based platform offers global royalty collection, faster payouts, typically within 3 months, and full control. Members retain 100% of their copyrights with an 80-20 royalty split in their favor. Cosign handles licensing with major platforms and pros, giving independent artists access to the same publishing infrastructure used by top songwriters. Applications are now open with decisions made within 1 to 2 business days. And TrackLib has introduced a bespoke clearance model to streamline sample clearances for major artists and labels, aligning with traditional industry practices. While major artists like Kendrick Lamar and others have used TrackLib samples in the past, those deals were often handled manually. The new model addresses concerns that its standard clearance process doesn't always fit the larger projects, reinforcing TrackLib's position as a go-to platform for both independent and established artists. Alright, and finally, Warner Records has teamed up with hip-hop and R&B exec Tim Henshaw to launch Free Lunch Records, an expansion of his creative and touring company Free Lunch Agency. The partnership provides Warner artists with access to Free Lunch's creative, touring, and sync services, while establishing a dedicated platform for emerging talent. A&R executive Erica Coulter will serve as general manager, alongside her role as senior vice president of A&R at Warner. The label debuts with signees Sid and Alex Isley, further strengthening Warner's presence in R&B and hip-hop. Alright, and that's it for this week's Music Biz Brief. I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then I'll be back with my special guest, Miss Jenny, right after this. Keep it locked. Hey, I'm a Chick with Beats, multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit achiquewithbeats.com for resources for artists and instrumentals in various genres available for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achiquewithbeats.com. That's achiquewitbeatz.com. Let's make something happen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I'm your host, music producer, Chick with Beats, and I'm excited to say that I have in the virtual building with me today, Miss Jenny. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So yeah, I'm glad to have you here. Glad you could take time out from your busy schedule. I appreciate you for coming and sharing. So if you could just let everybody know a little bit about you, like who is Miss Jenny, where you from, how you got started in music, all that good stuff.
Well, thank you for having me, first and foremost. Second of all, I'm Miss Jenny. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I started singing when I was like younger, probably like elementary, middle school. I was in a girl group with my best friend. Of course, that's how I started. But then we kind of like, just merged apart, not relationship wise, but music wise. And I just decided to, do things on my own and release my own stuff. So.
Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. I feel like that's a common trait for most of us who like music, at least women. We've all been a part of at least one girl group in our youth that kind of makes us giggle when we think about maybe the subject matter of the music and whatnot. I had I had one with my cousins that we actually called ourselves the Cousin Crew. How hilarious is that? Okay. But anyway, but yeah, it's okay. That's pretty early to get started. What do you think kind of influenced you to want to do music so early?
Well, my mom used to she used to play those concerts. You know how they used to have them on like VHS tapes back in the day? But she would play them on the TV and we would like just sit there and sing and dance and have fun. And I don't know, it was just always a part of my life. And I picked up on it and then it became like kind of like a therapy.
That's beautiful. So who are some of the singers that you remember that kind of drew you in when you heard them?
Oh, definitely Mariah Carey. Destiny's Child, Beyonce. Who else? Aaliyah, for sure. Monica. Alicia Keys.
You got some heavy hitters in there. That's what's up.
Yes, I love them.
So, okay, now you started early, which explains the strength of your voice. When I listened to the first song that I heard from you, there's a lot of soul in what you're doing. Like you can actually feel it, not just like as the genre, but like you mean the lyrics that you say. So, how do you kind of get into that space when you're doing that?
Thank you. My songs are honestly raw emotions that I go through. I mean, I release them when I'm going through them, but I don't know. I have the soul and the passion in there because that's really how I'm feeling at the moment that I recorded.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I'm like, yeah, no, I'm feeling this. Like it's different from listening, which either way, it'd still be great. But there's just that extra oomph in it that kind of sends it over the top and makes it extra special.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, you said that you kind of write whatever you're going through. Do you wait for those emotions to come before you sit down and create? Or do you have any special rituals? Like if you decide, okay, you know what, I got the night off, I'm about to sit down and do this. Like how do you kind of get into that headspace to write?
I can do either or. I have to be in my car for sure. But I can do either or. Sometimes some stuff just comes to me and then I'm like, oh my God, I gotta sit down, I gotta find a beat, I gotta feed this melody that's in my head, like, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to create a song, and then I do.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Because sometimes it's not always convenient when ideas pop up. So how do you manage to capture those?
A
you
lot of
know.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I lose because I'll get stuff while I'm driving, and I'm like, well, I can't pull over on the freeway just to write this line down,
Right.
But a lot of stuff that's meant to be on my tracks stick in my head.
That's meant to be. I like that. So yeah, just to embrace it. Like, nope, it's got to be there, and you just remember. Because yeah, I know that there's been times that I've done it. I've had guests on the show that talk about it too. Like, it's horrible when you're out and you gotta like grab the voice memo thing real quick. And I'm like, I know the people sitting next to me at the red light are like, what the heck is she doing? And I'm like, beatboxing in my phone. Like, I gotta remember this drum pattern before I forget when I get home.
It's definitely like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that we have those tools, but like you said, it's not always convenient to do it, especially on the freeway. But yeah, so can we talk a little bit about collaboration? Have you worked with people that you feel have maybe just kind of elevated where you are musically? Like, do certain people kind of stick out? Not to make you play favorites. You can name as many as you want, or general, but yeah.
Well, to merge in the new release of my EP that just dropped on February 14th called All Things Love, there's a feature on there, and his name is BZ Amarelli, and he really, really, really helped me out with being more comfortable with myself while recording.
I'd like to know a little bit about that, because honestly, as long as I've been recording, I can never actually do that. So yeah, what kind of advice do you have as far as what you've learned from that?
Just be yourself, honestly. Like, overthinking is what gets me, because I can be bigger than the big I am,
Yeah.
So he just kind of like kept me grounded or down to earth with stuff like that. Like, just be comfortable, just hit the notes how you hit them. Yeah. Why you got to be so worried about the notes that you hit, is what he used to say. But it really stuck in my head, and it makes me feel more comfortable, honestly.
Okay, that's what's up. So yeah, how do you go about choosing who you collaborate? Does it just kind of fall into place, or do you seek out certain types of vibes?
Before I did, I liked jumping into other people's worlds in music, because I'm always in mine, but I like feeling other people's vibe also. Right now I'm more on the path of really understanding me as an artist. So I'm kind of sitting with myself and playing around with the different things I can do. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm here, there, and everywhere, honestly.
Okay. Well, with that being said, are there genres that maybe people wouldn't expect you to do that you're kind of looking to do right now?
Honestly, the genres I'm already in are what people don't expect me to do. So I guess the other genres, for the people who really know me, would be like, what? Like, maybe like country or rock. They'd probably be looking at me like, are you serious?
Okay. Yeah. It's always good to kind of stretch, but I really like what you said about just kind of sitting with yourself to figure out what you can do and kind of what you want to do. Because I feel like that brings such an important aspect to collaboration. So that way, once you know who you are, that kind of makes the session a little bit stronger. So that's really dope. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've noticed, I guess, from the time that you were singing when you were young to where you actually started putting out music? What are some of the biggest changes you've kind of seen in the industry?
Seeing artists for who they really are in the world.
Ooh.
That's a big one that I've been sitting with recently. Like, just knowing that they're not as perfect as I thought they were when I was younger.
Yeah. I feel like from the time frame or the era that you mentioned with most of your influences, things were a little more hush hush. I mean, some stuff would leak out, but yeah, for the most part, it wasn't instantly online for you to see. And then, they didn't have access to social media, of course, and to make the big faux pas and all the stuff that they do.
Lucky them.
Yeah. Wow. That's nobody's ever mentioned that when I've asked that question. But yeah, that's a huge thing, because it feels like most of the time audiences are kind of divided, where some people say, no, I separate the artist from the art, or no, it matters to me. And so, with you saying how important it is to be yourself, it seems like if more people who are cool and they're doing that, they're fine. But yeah, that's kind of when you get that divide, and it's like, oh yeah, you're not who I thought you were. You sing this, but then you find out these guys sung these beautiful R&B songs, but the whole time they were abusing their partners, and it's just really insane.
Or the artist that actually stole most of their work is like, oh wow.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. J-Lo. But yeah,
you know what, you read my mind. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was just gonna say, I know who you're talking about, but I'm like, I don't owe her anything. I can say it.
Oh no, that's right.
Yeah, so that's a really great thing to bring up. That is a really huge change. How does that determine how you put yourself out there, knowing that everything's so much more visible? I know for me personally, it makes me a little more like, okay, you know what? I'm going to kind of show who I am within my music, so it's not a surprise when you see me dance into this, or So yeah, how do you think that shift has kind of affected you and your music and yourself online?
It makes me a lot more private. I don't really want a lot of the industry stuff like seeping into my home life. But that does leave it to where like people don't really know a lot about me. So I'm going to be changing that a little bit, but still keeping that balance of, industry and home at home.
Right. Yeah, that's a really interesting and hard tightrope to walk. Because sometimes even when people are promoting stuff and they might, tag my government name, and it's like, yo, for this, can you not?
Right.
Like, yeah, I kind of want some stuff to be a little bit separate for myself. But yeah, no, I definitely feel you there. So yeah, can you tell me about a specific time in your journey, like a performance, or even if it was a recording that you've done that felt really significant to you? Kind of similar to like how you mentioned with the collaboration, but just as far as performing goes.
Performing. Each time is a different special experience, honestly. I love performing. I feel whole when I perform. So each time just fills me up more.
Okay. What do you think kind of gives you that vibe? Like, what do you love most about it?
The rush. The rush that I get in the moment is like what makes me the happiest.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, just kind of like all those nerves and then being able to put the feeling out for it to be absorbed.
Yep. And then the more and more I do it, the more and more I'm less nervous. Like, yeah, it feels good.
Okay. That's what's up. See, that's how you know you're meant to do it. Then you actually enjoy the butterflies that most of us kind of run from.
Yeah. I try to run, but then my body doesn't let me.
See, that's how you know that's where you're supposed to be. That's what's up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, since you love every part of performing, is there a special part of the songwriting process that you enjoy for those moments that you decide to sit aside and dedicate time towards it?
I love when all the pieces come together. That's the most amazing part to me, for me to like actually listen to what I created.
Okay. That's how you know. You're like, yeah, I got something here. Like,
most of the time it's like, dang, I did that.
Oh, that's excellent. So yeah, I guess for anybody listening that might be kind of struggling with that, or I guess like you had mentioned earlier, like overthinking as far as writing goes, do you have any advice for them to just kind of overcome that and go ahead and put it out so they can be proud of themselves later?
Your words are meant to be a part of the journey. So no matter how it comes out, just let it come out.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's a good nugget there. Will probably be a soundbite just for the record.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. With all of those things, you've mentioned, who some of your favorite singers are. Are there anybody or any singers, artists, whatever, producers, musicians that you'd like to collaborate with just in the future? Like famous, underground, whatever. Like if you have like a top 5 that are on your dream list to be able to work with someday.
Top 5. Okay. Mariah Carey. Especially soon. Beyonce. Kelly Rowland.
Ooh.
Okay, this is a Cleveland one. Artinka Tierra.
Okay.
And honestly, Monica.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I see you there. And I feel like Kelly Rowland doesn't get mentioned enough.
She don't, and she is amazing.
Yeah. That's incredible. So, let's see, we've talked about the influences. Are there any people around you, like maybe you haven't worked with them music wise, but just kind of inspire you and encourage you to keep going?
Ones that I haven't worked with?
Yeah, like just, every day. So like even maybe those friends that you had started with like early on, but yeah, just in general. Because, sometimes you might have like a homegirl in your corner that's been cheering you on, even though they don't sing or whatever,
Yeah, my best friend, Sherelle. I knew her since kindergarten. She's who I started singing with. And she still cheers me on to this day on my posts and my text messages, everything. And my sister, Brandy, she cheers me on for everything I do. And my fiance, D1D, he's a comedian local in Cleveland. His name is Darian, and he's a huge support to my life.
Okay, that's what's up. No, it's so important as a creative in any aspect to kind of have those people around you. Yeah, and sometimes they're not even local. Sometimes you could have internet friends that cheer you on harder than some people you know. But yeah, it's really helpful. So, you going back to elementary and so forth, did you ever imagine being where you are now at that time?
No, I didn't imagine me actually going through with it. but since kindergarten, when they asked, what do you want to do with your life and everything, it was always a singer, but I was scared to say it.
Yeah, because back around those times, I think it wasn't really until more recently you always got you got to have a backup plan. Well, it's hard, but I don't think anybody really foresaw how the market would change and how easy it is for independents to be able to get their stuff out there. Might be harder to get an audience, but the fact that we can do it now, and that's something that wasn't available during that time. So
yeah, and it's very, very appreciated too in this world.
Yeah. So even considering that, how'd you feel the first time you ever actually released a song? Like to be able to listen to it on streaming, or whether it was a physical CD, whatever the case may be. How did that feel to you?
It was very surreal. Like I actually did it. I couldn't believe it. And then people were actually listening.
Do you remember some of that early feedback that you got?
I had I can name a name. Slim Demore. He texted me all the time and told me how it helped, like my song The Butterfly Effect helped him get through a lot of emotional things in his life. I got a lot of positive feedback, and I really did appreciate it at the time because I was scared.
Okay. Yeah. So how did that make you feel? Because I think it's great. Yeah. Not even like it's great when people just like your music, but to say that it actually affected them or helped them through something has like a different kind of impact. Can you talk about how that made you feel to hear that?
That felt really good because that's the goal.
Yeah.
for sure. I know music did that for me, so I definitely want to do that for whoever.
Yeah. And especially to have the courage to put out your feelings like that and then to know that you're not alone and that someone needed to hear them. Um,
Yes.
I firmly believe that any artist that feels compelled to be one, it's because someone out there needs to hear what it is that you have to say. And so it's always a beautiful thing when you actually get that feedback to find out, like, hey, like I had to
Mhm.
write this. It was for this person. Maybe it's for others, but to know that it affected that one person is just, yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. I agree with you.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about what you got in the pipeline? I know you already mentioned that you put a new EP or a single, did you say, on
E-
Valentine's? EP?
EP. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that and then talk about what you got coming up in the future.
Okay. It's a five song track EP. Um, and basically it's just how I feel about love. So, um, let me see. Um, the first track I know on it is called All Things Love. The second track is Love Like a Telephone. And then it goes into Lose Your Mind. And then Lately. And then Enough. But it's like, it's all different phases of how I feel in a relationship
Mm,
or even love overall, honestly.
yeah. So
And
just
like the give and take and everything. So,
okay. Kind of like through the whole cycle then.
yes.
That's what's up. All right. So yeah, first of all, congratulations for that. It's a lot of work putting it together and actually releasing it. And
Mm-hmm.
shout out to you for knowing what an EP is. I found that a lot of people will call their stuff EPs, and then you go get it, and it's like, man, it's 10 tracks on here. But yeah, I'm seeing that more and more lately. I'm not really sure where that flipped. So yeah, shout out to keeping it real and sticking with the actual representation of it. But
Thank
yeah.
you.
So what made you decide to release it as an EP? I know a lot of times there's been some conversation recently about the attention span of people. And the EP seems to be kind of the sweet spot. Uh,
That was a big factor in it. Was the world's attention span at this point. But yeah, that was one huge reason. I don't know. It was just my intuition. I just kind of wanted to go with something small for right now.
yeah. It seems like people do seem to receive those a little bit differently than full albums. And then, you got a lot of the majors where lately a lot of them have been doing like at least 22 tracks. It's just like, my goodness, that's a lot.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the beauty of the EP. When you're not trying to do like basically double CDs, you can focus more on the content. You don't have to put any fillers in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, okay, do you have anything else coming up this year? Any new music, more performances, or even if it's just planned promotion for the EP that you just released?
Um, Definitely promotion for the EP. I'm in the process of doing like a photo shoot run, leading up to my official video for the song "Love Like a Telephone" that's going to be coming up. Those dates will be announced later on. Um, but that's the plan for that. I am currently writing right now, but nothing that's going to be released like anytime soon right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's enough. It's like considering the climate and all the things that you have to do to promote these days, like even for a single, that's still an accomplishment because it just takes so much. Um,
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
yeah. So, okay. Yeah, we've got that going. We still got a little bit of time left. So, before I have you let everybody know where they can find and follow you and listen to your music and all that good stuff. Um, how, let's see, how can I say this? How have you handled setbacks that you've kind of come up with just throughout your entire career? You don't have to go into any specifics, but we've all had them one way or another. How have you managed to kind of bounce back from that and still keep doing what you're doing?
Number one, I know my comeback is going to be harder. So I keep that in my mind. But number two, I'm weird. I listen to a lot of mainstream celebrities and their advice on things. And I don't know why I do that. I do that constantly, every single day. And it kind of helps me navigate. And then I end up making the right choices.
Wow. That's kind of interesting because I find that even sometimes when you come across quotes from mainstream artists that I might not even listen to, it's still sound advice. So it's like, you know what? They've actually gotten to where they are for a reason, regardless of how you feel about their sound or maybe some of their creative choices. A lot of times there's still some good nuggets in there. So no, I don't think that's weird at all. It's pretty sound.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, you shared those, and I think that, anybody listening that's kind of struggling, those are some good pointers and tips. Do you have any other nuggets that you'd like to leave for the listeners?
Always believe in yourself. You are amazing. God put you here for a reason. God gave you a voice for a reason. Not everybody can do all those special things with their voice, so embrace it. And keep going. Just never give up on yourself. Because if you give up, you only giving up on yourself.
I love it. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, now's the time. I want to make sure that everybody knows, where they need to be looking for you, and also make sure you listen to her EP. So yeah, if you can give out your socials and all the other information you want them to have.
Okay, so on Instagram and YouTube, I'm Miss, and that's MS_Jenny 216. And on every other platform, I'm Miss Jenny.
All right. That's awesome. So yeah, once again, thank you for coming and taking time out of your schedule to share your story, your wisdom and nuggets of information. I like to say gems. So yeah, I really appreciate you for that. And I hope that we can do this again sometime. Have a part 2 for any updates and stuff that we might need to do.
Yes, I would love that. And thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, and that's a wrap for this episode of Instrumental Intel. I've been your host, music producer Chick with Beats. Once again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. I'd like to thank my special guest, Miss Jenny, for coming through and sharing her experience. And of course, I'd like to thank my home station, Grander Radio, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Make sure you come back next week. I got a special episode for you lined up. So, till next time, you know where to find me. Tune in, tell a friend. I'll see you then. Peace.